Joe Schoen spoke to the media Monday morning as the Giants are on their bye week, and he answered a lot of questions about the future of this organization. He talked about Daniel Jones. He talked about the offensive line, Evan Neal, as well as the Brian Daboll versus Wink Martindale beef, if there is any there. I'm going to share my opinions on that, and we'll get you caught up to speed on everything surrounding the New York Giants. But first, if you're looking for videos every day on Big Blue, this is your one-stop shop. Giants Now by Chat Sports. Hit that big red sub button. We put out free content every single day, and we're getting closer and closer to 40,000 subs, and we need your help. So if you love the Giants, you bleed Big Blue, hit that subscribe button right now. Alrighty, so the biggest, I would say, topic coming out of this press conference this morning, Monday morning, was Daniel Jones as potentially the starting quarterback for the Giants. Joe Schoen was asked, what are they going to do with Daniel? And he said, DJ is the starting quarterback for the New York Giants when he is healthy. But the thing is, when is he going to be healthy? Because Joe Schoen also said that he may not be ready to go week 1 next year, and they may have to prepare to play a couple weeks without him. So if Jones is not healthy to go, where will they go? We'll talk about that. Here are some quarterback return date timelines as they have come back from torn ACLs. You see Kyler Murray, he got hurt last year in week 14. He was ready to go in week 10 the following year. Joe Burrow, very similar timeline to what Daniel Jones could potentially be on. Hurt in week 11, ready to go week 1. Jimmy Garoppolo, he got hurt in week 3. He wasn't ready to go until the following week 1. Deshaun Watson, also very similar as Daniel Jones. Week 9, ready to go week 1. And then Carson Wentz, one of the fastest recoveries we've seen, getting hurt in week 14 and ready to go week 3. So there's a chance that Daniel Jones could be ready to go week 1. And Joe Schoen said if he is, he will be the starting quarterback. He also added this, though. We are going to do something at the quarterback position this offseason. He talked about how the only quarterback really under contract for the Giants is Tommy DeVito. And when you're an undrafted free agent, you technically get a 3-year deal, but it's year by year, and the Giants will have the opportunity to pick up that contract for next year if they want to. Also, Tyrod Taylor is a free agent. So really, the only quarterback that you guaranteed have under contract is Daniel Jones, who's coming off a torn ACL and was forced to miss 3 games this year due to a neck injury. I want to make this clear. Joe Schoen did not say that they would not draft a quarterback or that they would draft a quarterback. But it is important to know that the Giants currently have the 6th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. So let's just recap it. Daniel Jones is going to be the Giants quarterback when healthy. Joe Schoen also said Daniel Jones may not be ready to go week 1. He also said the Giants will do something at the quarterback position, and with the 6th pick in the draft, maybe they look to select one of these guys at the top of this draft. Caleb Williams, Drake May, 1 and 2 when it comes to the top QBs heading into the 2024 class. Then you got guys like Jaden Daniels, who's making a late push to be the Heisman this year. Extremely athletic, somewhat reminds me a little bit of Lamar Jackson. Michael Penix, Bo Nix, 2 older quarterbacks, 2 guys that are going to be 24 years old prior to the start of the 2024 NFL season, but they've put together really good years, have a lot of good tape, and it's going to be fun to see them face off in that Pac-12 championship. I will say this. I really only love Caleb Williams and Drake May. And I am of the belief, if you don't love a quarterback, if you don't think that quarterback can help you be the face of the franchise and win a Super Bowl, you should not draft that quarterback. And I'm not so sure when it comes to Penix as well as Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels. So I don't know if I would select a QB outside of Love and Drake May, or Williams, and Drake May. And look, with the Giants picking 6, I don't think either of those guys are going to be on the clock, and I'm not so sure the Giants are going to be willing to give up the draft capital to move up to select one of those guys. Another question. Is Tommy DeVito, and the way he's played over the past 2 weeks, look, he's 2-0 as a starter. I know you played the bad Patriots team, and you played a bad Washington Commanders team. But 2-0 is 2-0 in the National Football League. Giants don't have a great supporting cast. Has he done enough to at least be the long-term backup quarterback for the Giants? If he has, maybe he's the guy that starts next year while Jones is hurt, or maybe you end up drafting a quarterback like Joe Schoen did not shut down. I'll ask you this question. Do the Giants need to draft a quarterback in round 1? Everyone has an opinion on Daniel Jones, and you should. We've seen him play a lot of football games, and it's been a lot of this. So I'll ask you, do the Giants need to draft a QB in round 1? Sound off for me down below. My answer is It matters who's on the board. But I have seen enough. We all know who Daniel Jones is. I know, you know, Joe Schoen knows, and hopefully John Mara knows. He is not a bus driver. He's not a guy that can lead you to the game to get to the big game. And at the end of the day, you look at what he's done over the last 4 years, the thing that concerns me the most is he's only played one full season in the last 4 years. He's missed 8 games due to a neck injury over the last 3 years, and he missed 3 more this year, and now he has a torn ACL. In my opinion, he's injury prone. He's a guy that has to have a perfect situation around him. And I just don't think the Giants should roll with him much further. I know he'll be on the roster next year, but if you cut him after 2024, you'll have a dead cap hit of about $22 million for 2025. I think it's also important to state that Joe Schoen, when asked what the Giants are going to do in round 1, he said, we'll take the best player available. That doesn't say you're not drafting a quarterback. It also says you're not going to draft a quarterback. You'll take the best player available. Maybe that is a QB. It's going to be a long offseason for the Giants, and we're going to keep you up to date all year long. So subscribe and turn notifications on. Coming up next, Joe Schoen was asked about the offensive line and kind of what he thought of the O-line, where they are. He talked about Evan Neal, and he also touched on Brian Daboll and Wink Martindale. We'll break that down in a second, but first, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Game Time. If you are looking for the best ticketing app in the game, download the Game Time app and use the promo code GiantsChat, and you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. The things that I love about Game Time, it's super easy. You get the best seats for the lowest prices guaranteed. And if you're a guy like me that's maybe a procrastinator, the prices drop as the event gets closer. You don't have to buy tickets 2 months out in advance. And did I say it's the lowest prices guaranteed? I also enjoy that when you're going to buy tickets, you can get a view of the seat in the stadium that you want to buy. And it's not just Giants tickets. You can go to Knicks games. When the MLB season comes back, you can go there. You can go to theater events. You can go to concerts and more. Download the Game Time app and use the promo code GiantsChat. You're going to get $20 off your first purchase. Just click the redeem code screen, type it in, and get $20 off. Download the Game Time app and just use the promo code GiantsChat. The best way to buy tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. All that information will be clickable down in the comments and description of today's show. A big question also in this Joe Schoen press conference was kind of focused on Evan Neal, right? Look, you used the top 7 pick on him. You thought he was going to be the franchise right tackle, and just has not worked out. Joe did say, though, that he believes Evan Neal can play. He talked about how he recently went back and watched the tape at Alabama and really just really refocused that he can be a good player in this league. But he did admit that he needs to play better. And no shit, he has been a bust so far in his NFL career. He was also asked if he thinks or has thought about moving Evan Neal from right tackle to right guard. And he said, no, not really. Mentioned that he doesn't really think that that would be the avenue that they would go down. But you never know what could happen. A year from now, maybe you sign a right tackle and you move Evan Neal to right guard. I know this for a fact, though. Evan Neal cannot be the only investment at the right tackle position, or you're going to run into another situation like you did this year where you're going to have to sign Tyree Phillips off the street, and he's going to have to come in and play right tackle. And as he was the right tackle the last 2 games, the Giants have allowed 15 sacks. Not saying they're all on him. A lot are on Tommy DeVito, but the Giants have to do something to improve the offensive line. Whether that means you draft a right tackle early in the draft that makes him compete with Evan Neal, whether you sign a veteran swing tackle, you have to do something to improve the offensive line. I also thought this was a little bit interesting. Joe Schoen blamed injuries as the reason the offensive line has struggled. And look, you're not the only team with injuries, so I guess you can use that excuse. But to me, that is a bullshit answer by Joe Schoen. Because when the Giants' offensive line was healthy, and it was only for week 1 against the Dallas Cowboys, they got absolutely pummeled. And I'll say this, don't blame it on injuries when you only added 1 offensive lineman in the offseason, and it was a center in the 2nd round after the Eagles kicked your teeth in week 18 and in the 2nd round of the playoffs. You only made one move to improve the offensive line, and it was a rookie center. You didn't put much resources into it. So don't tell me it's injuries. It's a lack of putting resources into your offensive line. That's BS, Joe Schoen. You're not getting me on that. What I did like about what he said was he was asked about the punt returner issues. With Eric Gray, the rookie, he got hurt, fumbled a couple times, and you put Sterling Shepard back there. He fumbled. He said, you know what? That's on me. And I love hearing that out of my general manager. Dave Gettleman would never. But now just fix it. And I like what they've done. I like Gunnar Olszewski being the punt returner. If I was the general manager, I would have one player on my roster to solely be the returner. Hopefully they've learned their lesson from that. He also shut down the beef between Brian Daboll and Wink Martindale. Jay Glazer of Fox Sports, in my opinion, one of the most credible reporters across the NFL, said that Brian Daboll and Wink Martindale have a strained relationship and Martindale might not make it to the end of the season as the Giants' defensive coordinator. Well, in the last 2 games, the Giants have forced 9 turnovers, and I don't know how you fire a guy like that. Joe Schoen shut it down, said, I haven't heard much about it. I think the relationship is fine, so I'm not going to worry about that report too much. I enjoyed the press conference from Joe Schoen today. It was good to hear from him, but I still think there's a question if he's the right guy for the job. Right now, I believe in him. If I had to scale my confidence from 1 to 10, I'd give it about an 8. I'm still really confident in the guy. I like the trades he has made. I thought he's made some really good draft picks. Micah McFadden looks like a stud. Bobby Okereke was a great signing. Jalen Hyatt just had his first 100-yard game of his career. I believe in him, but I want to hear from you. What is your confidence level in Joe Schoen? Scale up from 1 to 10. Let me know what you think down below. As always, I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you for tuning in to Giants Now by Chat Sports. If you haven't yet, give me a follow over on Twitter @MarshallGreen_, and let's talk more Giants football over there.